What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. And guys, I am here today to show off a really cool new Steelbook from the Lionsgate Limited website. This is a website exclusive, guys. From the brand new Lionsgate Limited website, we've got Apocalypse Now, the 4K Steelbook. And what I wanted to do with this video, guys, we're going to talk about Apocalypse Now, how it compares to the past versions that Lionsgate has put out, because I actually do have the 2019 version right here, the box set release that they did. And then I've got the 2021 Steelbook that they did as well. Now, why would I get a third version of Apocalypse Now in 4K? Lionsgate actually sent me this one to review and unbox and showcase on the channel. And I did watch Apocalypse Now, the final cut on 4K just this year. It was about 6 months ago I watched it, so I will be able to comment on the 4K quality of it because I did watch it fairly recently. But yeah, we're going to do an unboxing of this. I also want to get into Lionsgate Limited, the exclusive, website, the direct-to-consumer website, the new website. I want to get into that, just my thoughts on that, maybe elaborate on some things. Because this Steelbook, I think it's available now. I think it went on sale on December the 17th. So you should be able to go directly to their website. I'll link it down below, pick this up. And it should be sent to you pretty soon because it's supposed to have been released already. But this is going for a price point of $40. And that looks to be like the standard price point for the Lionsgate Steelbooks going forward on the Lionsgate Limited website. Now, the Conversation, which is also on the website right now, is $80. That's a little bit more premium of a box set with a Steelbook on the inside. We've also got the Kill Bill Steelbooks, the Jackie Brown 4K Steelbooks. Those are all up on there for a price point of $30. Reservoir Dogs is also on there, the Mr. Pink edition, for $30. I'm guessing that's a little bit lower because we've already gotten Reservoir Dogs, the 4K Steelbook. But yeah, the Apocalypse Now version is on there for a price point of $40. So I do want to unbox this here today. I want to compare it to the other editions and maybe talk about the movie briefly as well. This is an all-time classic, guys, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, but there's multiple cuts. There's all kinds of stuff, in this set right here to dive into. Before we get into it, like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on bell notifications for all future videos. And let's talk about Apocalypse Now. Look, I watched this for the first time, actually, when I got this release right here back in 2019. I watched the theatrical cut on 4K just because, I always want to watch the theatrical cut first. I never want to start with the director's cut. A bunch of people gave me crap because I watched The Abyss for the first time this year on 4K, and I watched the theatrical cut, and everybody's like, Ken, you need to watch the director's cut. That's the definitive version. No wonder you didn't love the movie like the rest of us. I'm like, I just don't roll like that, guys. I'm going to watch the theatrical cut. Then the next time I watch it, I will watch the director's cut. And since I just watched it, I don't feel like watching the whole movie over again for a director's cut. And that's kind of what I did with Apocalypse Now. I watched the theatrical cut when this release came out. And then a few months ago, I watched the final cut. And I will say, I still think I'm a bigger fan of the theatrical cut. I was not a big fan of just all the additional stuff that they added into the final cut. And I've never seen Redux. And Redux is so you have the original, 1979 Apocalypse Now. Then you've got Redux that came out back in 2001. Added in loads of additional scenes, stuff that they shot back in the day, didn't include in the movie, cut out. Added in a bunch of stuff. Basically, they just added in a bunch of deleted scenes that they took out into Redux, and it felt like they just kind of crammed it all in there. From what I've heard, guys. Like I said, I haven't seen it. They just crammed in a bunch of stuff. It was like no rhyme or reason, and it just broke up the pace of the film and made everything so disjointed and discombobulated. And people were not huge fans of Redux, from what I've read and from what I've heard. Then with the final cut, they aimed to fix all that. They went in there, they took the best stuff from Redux, all the additional scenes, and remastered it, because the final cut debuted in 2019 for the 40th anniversary. It debuted with this release right here. Yes, it was in the theaters as well, but it debuted with this 2019 4K release. We did not have the final cut on home video before this. I'm pretty sure we had Redux, though. So what the final cut does, it takes all the best stuff from Redux. I still think it kind of breaks up the pacing, like the plantation stuff, like some of the other stops that they make, just some of the stuff that they put in there. I just don't think it needs to be there. And ultimately, my favorite part of the movie, why I love the movie so much, is those last 30 to 45 minutes with Colonel Kurtz, and you got Morton Sheen and the whole tribal thing. That's the best part of the movie. So because we have to take longer to get there, like, I just don't think that like necessarily works for me. Like, I like, not that I don't enjoy the journey. I do enjoy the journey. There are several aspects of it and scenes and sequences. There's some good stuff that happens before they get to that. I just don't like it drug out. So I like getting to the Colonel Kurt stuff quicker. So I like the theatrical cut just a little bit better. But this release right here, guys, that came out back in 2019, it had all this stuff. This is a glorious box set right here. And I just let my digital code fall out, but I've already given that one away a long time ago. But this is a great box set. And like I said, I want to compare this to that Steelbook because it has all the same discs in it. I'm assuming it'll have like different disc art and stuff. But this was a great box set. It also included the Hearts of Darkness documentary, which basically tells the story of the making of this movie. And if you don't know, a lot of crap went down in the making of this movie. It's one of the more like troubled productions for a classic like masterpiece movie for sure. So it's definitely interesting how they dive into that. And I did watch that documentary actually for the first time earlier this year. So you have the Redux, you have the original theatrical cut, and you have the final cut, and you have Hearts of Darkness, and then a host of other like special features that are included in this 2019 set back right there. And then you got this 2021 Steelbook that came out. And I think this one came out in like October 2021. This is when Lionsgate was just firing on all cylinders with their Steelbook. This is still, to me, like one of the best ones that they have ever done in terms of artwork. I just think this is freaking beautiful right here. But the bad thing about this one is it's only the final cut. So that's the only option. The only way you can watch Apocalypse Now on this release is the final cut. So you got that on 4K and you got it on Blu-ray. But look at that disc art, guys. Like, even the disc art just looks freaking fantastic on this Steelbook. So yeah, I love this Lionsgate Steelbook, but it was definitely like disappointing, I know, for some people, because I think when this came out, like this version was out of print. So people couldn't get this. Like you literally could not get the theatrical cut of Apocalypse Now for, I think, going on like 3 or 4 years now on 4K, because this is the only release they did, this like chunky edition. They didn't do like a regular edition or a standard edition or anything like that. They did that big box set version. Then they did this Best Buy exclusive Steelbook. And I think the Steelbook sold out pretty quickly as well. So we pretty much gone like the past 2 to 3 years without having any like 4K release of Apocalypse Now available, or at least in print. Like people could probably get it off of eBay or places like that, but they were going to pay $50 to $60 to get it. So the fact that Lionsgate did bring this release back is pretty cool. But again, this is $40. And I paid, guys, I paid $17.99 for this. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it back in the day. A 6-disc set. This is how great Lionsgate was back in 2019. A 6-disc set for $17.99 at Walmart. That is what I paid for this back in the day. Incredible pricing. You want to know what I paid for this awesome Steelbook with great artwork? $19.99. Okay, so the price that I paid for both of these releases right here don't even equal the price of this one Steelbook right here. But times have changed, guys. Times have changed. And I still got to give Lionsgate a little bit of credit. We're getting into the Steelbook, guys. We're already like, what, 7-8 minutes into the video. And now we're finally unboxing the Steelbook. And I will also say, guys, like the final cuts on 4K is incredible. And it probably does look better than the theatrical cut and the Redux cut, because they actually took the original camera negative to do the final cut, whereas the theatrical cut and I think Redux were both from the interpositive. Like all the releases from the past were from the interpositive from what I was reading, and only the final cut was done from the original camera negative. So the best 4K in this set is going to be the final cut, and that is the one that has its own disc. The theatrical cut and Redux are on the same disc. Now, both the 4Ks are 100 gigabyte discs, so there's plenty of room for those movies to breathe. But here is the Steelbook, guys, the front of the Steelbook. Yeah, Apocalypse Now on 4K, guys, looks freaking incredible. Freaking incredible. Can you guys see that? You know, I will say, like, I like the orange a little bit better, but the green's cool. And, you know, you had the image from that release back in the day as well. Now, let's take the... is there any kind of cool gimmick with the slipcover? No, it just removes the title. Just removes the title. You got an up-close shot of Martin Sheen in the water, which is pretty damn iconic. Flip it. You got the little temple right there. Freaking awesome. I love all this stuff at the end, guys. This is a great movie. A great movie. Now, I know people are not going to, because I open this up and immediately discs fall out. Immediately disc falls out. So, like, this 6-disc, like, thing with Steelbooks, like, that doesn't work. That just doesn't work. Now, you do have a digital code in here, so I'm going to flash that and give it to whoever wants it. Whoever wants the digital code, take it. Take it or leave it. Now, what is this the digital code for? I don't know. Is it all 3? Is it just the final cut? I don't know, to be honest. Okay. So, we have... Now, all these have new discard as well. So, they were all falling out. We have the final cut. Let me show you how these were presented in here first, guys. So, they're all stacked on top of each other. You got 3 on this side and you got 3 on this side. All stacked on top of each other, which is like, you know, what else are you going to do with the Steelbook? Like, what else are you going to do? That's what they have to do. But again, that's just a flaw in the steel. Like, it would have been cool if they did some... Now, this would have upped the price. It would have upped the price. They probably would have charged $50 or $60 for it. But it would have been cool if they did some kind of like, you know, little Steelbook box set or something with a couple of Steelbooks in it. You know, 3 discs inside each Steelbook. One could be for the Redux and theatrical. One could be for the final cut. But yeah, let's look at these discs individually. So you have the final cuts right here on 4K, and they're all stacked, guys. I gotta be very careful. Then you also have the original. Now, is this the 4K? This is the 1979 original and Redux on this disc. And I think this is the Blu-ray. That's what's underneath. And then you also have special features right there. I might have put these back in wrong. Then you also got the Hearts of Darkness documentary right there. On the other side, there's a lot of discs in one set, guys. You also got the theatrical and the Redux version on 4K. And then lastly, you have the final cuts on Blu-ray. So, and then I'll show you, I got discs all over the table now. I'll show you the interior artwork right there. I'll show you the back right there again. So, I mean, it's a beautiful Steelbook. It's got a nice matte finish to it. I like to call this like an in-between of like matte and gloss. You know, where it kind of feels a little glossy, but also like when you rub it, it just feels more matte. Whereas this version right here feels a little bit more glossy. There's a little bit more gloss on this Steelbook. So, I mean, look, I can't say I'm not happy to have 2 like Apocalypse Now 4K Steelbooks in the collection. In addition to this like box set release, like I do love this movie. I like it quite a bit. Like I need to watch Redux. I need to just break down and watch Redux because that is the only cut that I have not seen yet. But there you have it, guys. That is as I put the disc back in, that is the new Steelbook from the Lionsgate Limited website. Exclusive Steelbook from the Lionsgate Limited website. Going for $40. And lastly, guys, because I told you I was going to talk about my thoughts on the Lionsgate Limited website and the pricing. Here's my thoughts. And I'm not just saying this because Lionsgate sent this to me. They did send this to me to unbox and review and talk about with you guys. I'm not just saying it because of that, okay? I'm giving you my honest opinion. $40 is steep, but for this particular release, 6 discs, like we got away with murder back in the day. $17.99 for this set. Like we got away with murder. This would be $35 to $40 nowadays. It just would be. But this is just how great Lionsgate was with their pricing back in the day. $17.99, $19.99 for a great 4K Steelbook. And now they're pricing their stuff, I guess, more in line with how they should be priced, to be honest. When you compare it to some of the boutique labels and other Steelbooks we have coming out, this is honestly like comparable to that. And to have it back in stock after 2 to 3 years, people that missed out on these releases that couldn't get them, I'm sure this is going to be good news for them to have this back in stock. So I don't love it that the prices are going up for these Steelbooks, but to be honest, they're going up to a point where maybe that's where they should have been all along, you know, to be completely honest. And this set in particular, 6 discs for $40, like that's not really a bad deal. You got 3 cuts in 4K. You don't get that out of some of the boutique labels. They'll put one of the cuts in Blu-ray, and you know, the other cut in 4K, and they'll charge you like $35 to $38 to get that. So you don't get that kind of stuff out of a boutique label. And you also get the documentary Hearts of Darkness in here. So I think $40, like for this particular release, is a pretty good price. But even like the new stuff like Kill Bill and Jackie Brown, like maybe it should be $35 instead of $40. I think that's a better price, but I can't say it's like a terrible price, especially when you're comparing it to modern times now and what stuff's being priced at now. That's just how it is. You know, I don't know what else to say, but I will link this down below if you want to get it from the Lionsgate Limited website. I am very honored to have their first Steelbook here to showcase and show off to you guys. So thank you all for watching. You know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already liked the video. Comment down below your thoughts on the Lionsgate Limited Steelbook line and also this new Steelbook of Apocalypse Now. And we'll see you next time.